Hey guys, welcome. Now, I recently saw a thread on X, and people were discussing the fact that sometimes you can be driving, and all of a sudden it's like you forget that you're actually driving, and then at a point in time you remember that you're actually driving, and then you come back. And some of my students came to ask me about this, and interestingly, it does happen. And the fear was, hey, how can you be driving and you forget that you are driving, and then all of a sudden you remember, you come back? What happens in between that point that you've forgotten that you are driving? I mean, a whole lot of things could go wrong. Now let's try and understand this. The brain is actually a very, very interesting tool, and I don't think scientists have fully uncovered its full potential. But yes, it can happen when you drive, and this happens mostly with people who have driven for longer periods, not beginners. Usually, as a beginner or someone who just learned how to drive, it takes time for the driving to, more or less stick to you. So like muscle memory, everything is in your head, like it sticks to you. So usually if you're a learner, you think a lot when you are driving. Like you're always thinking about your actions and all that, your actions and inactions. But people who have driven for so many years, what happens is that the driving has become so much part of them that it is like their second nature. They don't think too much when they are driving. They can just look at a scenario, quickly know what to do, and just execute it seamlessly. It comes with years of experience and years of like driving. So for this particular thing, it doesn't happen to new drivers mostly. Now, let's look at what usually happens. Now, for those of you who have been driving for so long, yes, sometimes you are driving and you are in deep thought or you are in a pensive mood and your concentration is somewhere. Sometimes, something can be bothering you and taking a chunk of your concentration and hijacks your mind to the point where, you are not really thinking and acting towards the external things that you are seeing. So your body switches to autopilot. So usually if it should happen, that means you are not doing anything that is requiring your cognitive abilities to be, working so much. So, for example, let's say you are driving and then you are in traffic. Once you stop, your hands are on your steering, your foot is on the brake. This doesn't really require a lot of cognitive, abilities. So sometimes then you can just switch off. So you can be there, traffic light is green. You can literally see it's green, but your mind is off. This is not just like nearly that you are distracted. Your mind is just off because you are thinking about something or something is bothering you. So you usually need a kick to come back to reality. And sometimes this kick can be people will be shouting at you, people would be blowing their horn at you. Then all of a sudden it's like you wake up and then you continue. If it happens like this, usually the dangers are very low, but the dangers usually increase when you are moving. And when you are moving, even at a very high speed, it can happen. So let's say you are driving on a highway or motorway and then you are just on top speed and it's just like a straightforward movement. This doesn't really require a high cognitive ability to just maintain, because you are just going straight, your hands are on your steering, your foot is on the accelerator. And when you are doing, like I said, when you are doing stuff that doesn't really require any high level of cognitive abilities, then your mind what switches. So because you are in a pensive mode at that point in time, since you are not doing much, your brain just takes over and focus on that thing that is bothering you. So you can be driving on a highway straight, foot on accelerator, and just be going for some period, even not realizing that your mind is off. So you are just going like that. And it's very, very possible. And you can go like that for a very long time. Now, like I said, usually you need a kicker to come bring you back to reality. So sometimes it could be someone's horn, and then maybe someone shouts at you, "Hey, what is wrong with you? Are you sleeping or what? Where is your mind?" You get it. Sometimes if you are not careful, before you realize you are swaying into someone's lane or you are swaying to the edge of the road, then someone sounds the horn. Then it's like you sort of like wake up, because when you are in autopilot, that your body cannot really do anything that requires any high level of cognitive ability. That's basically like turning or switching from brake to accelerator or back. So you are just going like that seamlessly. If you are lucky and the car doesn't sway off, good for you. But in some cases, the car can sway off. And if you're not careful, you can crash the car. Sometimes you're just driving before you realize someone is just crossing you. And then it's like that is the kicker that wakes you up because there's danger. Or a car stops in front of you at once and then you also respond at once, and it's sort of like a kicker. You get it, bringing you back to reality. But the thing is, for some people, they can be so far gone that sometimes the kicker is delayed. So they end up hitting someone or hitting an obstacle before they wake up. This I've seen before. One time I was at a trade fair, park, and then a pickup, the gentleman was driving towards the Labadi beach. And then for out of nowhere, he hits a pedestrian. And then after hitting the pedestrian, it was almost like he got out of the car, looked at the whole thing, and everyone was asking, were you not seeing the road? Where was your attention? Like what happened? It's like it wasn't like it was a bright morning, no issues with visibility, unless of course you are not paying attention. And usually it was after this that he looked at the whole thing and he was full of sorrow. Like, how could he do this? Because his mind was so off that his body was just an autopilot going, and he wasn't like reading into the road and watching and taking actions. So when you're autopilot, it's like your body just maybe stays still, you're not really doing much, but just try to keep the car steady and just going. But you still have to reason and react to any hazard that you see on the road. So yes, this does happen, and in some people it is much worse. So sometimes for them, even when they see the danger, their minds are so off, they will probably end up hitting something or someone before eventually they wake up. And sometimes it might be too late. Sometimes you see people, especially those that do night driving, sometimes you're driving deep in the night, there's little or no traffic anywhere, you're on a straight road and you're just going for long periods. If you're in a pensive mood or something is bothering you, you can literally just switch off. And sometimes you end up seeing that such vehicles, they end up running into maybe broken down vehicles on the road. Sometimes you see a trailer and a car is probably driven under the trailer and the car is damaged beyond repair. In fact, if you are driving and you are really concentrating, how would you miss a trailer in front of you and run underneath it? Sometimes it's just that the mind switches off. So you have to take personal responsibility in checking your state of mind before you drive. Let me know in the comment section if you've ever experienced this before and how it went, whether you got away with it or you ended up, getting involved in an accident. Bye for now. See you soon and adios.
But the work is done. It always will be.